Hey guys, Josh here from Sportitude Running, and we're doing another top 5 shoes for 2021, and the category we're going to be touching on today is tempo running. So for those of you at home who would like to know if this is going to be a review you're going to stick through, tempo running is where you've got your mileage shoe covered, which is your heavy. So most of your long runs, your slow runs are done in your most supportive, most cushioned shoe. You may potentially have a race day shoe in the closet which you pull out pre your race to get a little bit of a lighter, snappier feel underneath your body. And you may or may not have been doing your sort of interval running or your threshold runs in either your heavy or your race day shoe. This category through here is where you're potentially looking at that third shoe in your rotation. So with today's review, what we're going to do is I'm going to try and do it in order of the most cushioned and supportive on that road surface right through to the least. And the 5 shoes underneath me here are relatively versatile. So to fall into this category, you need to, the shoes part of me need to be pretty versatile in the sense of what surfaces they can be used on, what foot types could be considering them, and also what paces or what sort of threshold you would or could be running at to fall into our top 5 tempo shoes for 2021. So without further ado, let's get stuck in. Okay guys, we're going to start off with the Adidas Adizero Boston 10. Now I have done a review only recently on this shoe and there'll be a link in this video below. Now in terms of the shoes underneath me here, this is the most supportive, heaviest, whatever you'd like to say. It's a fair bit of shoe underneath the foot, especially for tempo running. So at around 290 grams for a men's size 9, there's a fair bit of system underneath the body. However, this makes it into the top 5 for a couple of reasons. One, the Boston franchise has been that lightweight tempo running category now for, again, 10 years. So everyone out there, or the Adidas runners out there, the Adizero runners out there would know that franchise quite well. But the Boston 10 for us has sort of crept into this new category of, okay, I'm wanting to do some, push the pace a little bit. I want to do some interval runs. I'm looking to do some threshold runs, but my body just needs a little bit more support and a little bit more oomph underneath the body. So with the Light Strike Pro technology on top of the Light Strike foam and carbon rods through the forefoot, this shoe here does provide a relatively rigid but stable platform. The upper of this shoe has a really supportive saddle. So again, out of the shoes that we're going to talk about today, I feel that this is the most supportive. This is currently in my rotation at the moment. I am using it from anything for some slower, longer runs. Yes, it contradicts the fact that I've got a mileage shoe at home, but sometimes I do want to gravitate towards this shoe if I want to do a mileage run, but feel a little bit lighter and a little bit snappier. The Boston 10 plays right into that for me personally. Okay guys, shoe number 2 in our top 5 is the Asics Novablast version 2. Now, again, keeping in line with what we're doing today from the most to the least supportive, this shoe here is an incredibly versatile shoe. It's light at around 265 grams for a men's size 9, around that sort of 230 grams for a ladies size 7, and a pretty generous stack height too. We're talking 30 mil in the heel and 22 in the forefoot for that 8mm offset in a men's, and then 1mm variance for the ladies. Now, why is this shoe into this conversation today? Well, mainly due to the fact that it is light, it's soft, it's responsive, it's kind of everything you want in a lightweight shoe with protection. What we tend to find with the conversations we have downstairs with our customers and our staff members is this is such a great shoe for someone potentially looking at their first tempo or their first interval shoe that may have their mileage shoe covered. It could be a Nimbus, a Kayan, or Glycerin, whatever it is. They're looking for something relatively protected but lighter underneath the body, and that's where the Novablast comes into the conversation. Flight Foam Blast cushioning system, which is a really nice, light, spongy foam underneath the foot, and on a completely neutral platform, being same density on the medial side as is the lateral side. We have seen this one make its way into some race day conversations with some consumers out there as well. So again, very versatile, can be used for mileage, certainly great for tempo runs, and also the conversation around race day. Again, for that consumer that wants a little bit more protection underneath the body, we certainly have Novablast in that conversation. Okay, the third shoe in our conversation today is the Endorphin Speed 2. Very popular in this category of tempo, threshold running, and also it has made its way into that racing conversation for a lot of runners out there as well. This shoe here, like the Boston, has a little bit of extra juice through the midsole. So you get Power Rain PB technology on a 35.5 heel stack, and a 27.5 forefoot for that 8mm heel to toe drop. There's a nylon plate, full length nylon plate running from the heel right through to the forefoot in this shoe. So you get that little bit of extra rigidity, not quite as stiff as a carbon plate, but there's a little bit of fun and a bit of push through your toe off with this shoe as well. As I touched on, it has been a great shoe for that racer. So maybe someone who's looking at potentially throwing themselves into a carbon plate shoe may find them a bit too stiff and a bit too much system going underneath their foot, but I want and feel and want that demand part of me of a plated structure. Hey, the Endorphin Speed 2 is a fantastic conversation starter for us. Now, the other thing to note with this shoe as well is it's a pretty supportive system up top. So you've got a really good navicular wrap with that gusseted tongue part of meat, and also a nice internal heel counter at the back through here. So while it's a pretty light system underneath the foot, at around that sort of 225 grams part of me for men's size 9, and around that 198 to 200 grams ladies size 7. So it is a lightweight shoe, but there is a little bit more support up top. So the upper really does a great job in locking that foot on top of that midsole. Our fourth shoe to talk about today is getting towards that really lightweight but nice and protected shoe, and we're going to be talking all things Hoka Mark IV. When this shoe landed in the early part of 2021, it came with a lot of hype, and the hype was real. It was a fantastic update from what we have experienced with the Mark franchise. Now, I've been lucky enough to run in every single Mark from when they dropped, and they've kind of been a bit of a yo-yo system, up and down 1 year, a bit too much change from one to the next. But when they executed Mark IV, I feel they got it absolutely right. It's got a lot about it that for your Clifton runners that want something a little bit lighter, they can drop into the Mark IV with a lot of success. The shoe itself is on a pretty generous stack height. We're talking about that 29 heel and a 24 forefoot for that 5mm heel to toe variance. It's by no means what we know Hoka to be, which is a higher stack shoe. Certainly a fair bit of system underneath the foot, but the great thing about that is it's complemented with the ProFly technology, which you can see here in front of us is that red foam sitting on top of the rubberized EVA midsole. So again, with this shoe, that's part of the weight reduction. They took the rubber outsole away and they got a rubberized EVA system underneath the shoe itself. So it does reduce weight. It's not that great for durability. I mean, that's all fair with regards to what this shoe is all about. But again, when we're talking your tempo, your lightweight shoes, you're not going to be using them for anything over 60% of your running. It's probably going to be 50% or less. So you want to be resting these shoes every single week and making sure you roll them out for those intervals and those tempo runs. However, again, not to contradict what I just said, I do know a few customers that have grabbed the Mark IV for their mileage running. They want that lighter system underneath the foot, and this is exactly playing to that right there. Last but not least, in our top 5 shoes for 2021 for tempo running, we're talking all things Brooks Hyperion Tempo. Like its namesake, this shoe here is targeting that runner that's looking for that lighter weight trainer to complement their mileage training, getting their body conditioned for race day. So with this shoe here, it is the lowest in regards to stack heights from all the other shoes we've talked about today. We've got a 22mm heel, 14mm forefoot for variants of 8mm. The other thing too to note is it's on the Brooks DNA Flash technology. So that's that nitrogen infused midsole. It is very light and very snappy through the forefoot. Now, when I say light, everything about this shoe is pretty minimalistic. So there's not a lot going on with the upper. There's what I would say a relatively free fit and feel up top. And the weight of this shoe complements that too. So it's around that 207 grams for a men's size 9, and we've got 189 grams for a lady's size 7. So the lightest and the lowest stack out of all the shoes we talked about. Now, this shoe here has made its way into today's review because we needed to have a model that spoke to that runner that wants a slightly more of a proprioceptive feel under their body. Not every single runner out there wants a high stack or a plated system or some sort of propulsive benefit through that forefoot. There are a lot of runners still out there that want to have that really good connected feel with the ground, and that's exactly what the Hyperion Tempo does. It offers a light and a very snappy ride underneath the foot, and that's why it's in our top 5. Okay guys, in summary with the review today, top 5 tempo shoes for 2021, let's just recap on why this category even exists in the first place. I mean, we're talking about the runner out there that's taking their training wheels off, they're looking to take their running to the next level, you're goal orientated, you may have a time in mind, or you're looking to up your mileage each and every single week. You've got your designated mileage shoe, which is there to protect the body on those longer, slower runs. You potentially have a race day shoe, but instead of using race day or your mileage shoe for your threshold runs or your interval sessions, you want to complement your whole shoe roster and throw in that tempo shoe just to keep you moving and moving very, very well. The benefit of having 3 shoes in rotation is the sense that you're going to be able to get more miles out of your mileage shoe. You'll keep your race day shoe specifically for racing pushed aside and making sure that that shoe there isn't fatiguing and wearing out, because a race day shoe will wear out quick if you're using it for more than just your racing and a couple of runs in the lead up to a race. And this category through here, you also got to consider what surfaces you'll be doing your thresholds and your intervals on. Now, why I say that is because if you're going to be using on grass, you might want something a little bit closer connected to the ground, which is where your Hyperion tempo comes into conversation. Or if you're more out there pounding the pavement on the footpath surfaces, and you're maybe new to this category or this philosophy of tempo shoes, go down the path of a Boston or a Novablast to protect your body a little bit more. The other thing to note as well is it's so important to understand how your body moves within a tempo shoe, just as much as your mileage shoe. So we always recommend going into your store, having a conversation with the salesperson. In our environment here at Sportitude Running, we can pop you up in our Run DNA treadmills, analyze your data, and making sure that the tempo shoe is complementing your mileage shoe, complementing your running goals, and obviously going to make you a happier runner in the long term. So guys, if I've missed a shoe that you think needs to be in this conversation, let us know in the comment section below. And if you've got any questions, queries, or theories about the top 5 I've touched on today, let us know. I'd love to hear about all running shoes all around the world from you, the running community. And until next time, stay safe, be kind to one another, and we will see you at the road. Happy training. Take care.